Intellectual property could be inventions, work product, discoveries, and things like that, competitive advantage, descriptors that a company or a business could have. But typically, I think the expression intellectual property gets mixed up with copyrights, designs, patents, trademarks, which are actually rights which apply to intellectual property. There's a number of free intellectual property rights. Copyright is free. It applies to literary works, it applies to musical works, it applies to artistic works, it applies to dramatic works. There's copyright in film, there's copyright in sound recordings, there's performance rights. There's a whole number of rights which are free under copyright. There's also unregistered design right, there's database rights, and these are just UK rights. There's also moral rights, there's rights at a European level, and so there's a number of intellectual property rights that are free to help you get started to benefit from your creative work. Most intellectual property rights, particularly the free intellectual property rights, only apply once an idea has been expressed and fixed in some form. And so it's important then to make sure that that isn't being thrown out, it's not being destroyed, it's been recorded in some way. If it's a design, so if it's a pattern, if it's a three-dimensional object, it's worth taking your smartphone, taking a photograph of it and saving it so that you've got a record, an audit trail of the work in progress that you've been producing. Once you have produced a work and it's not work in progress, it's not just an idea, but if you've written a novel or if you've recorded a track, it's worth putting a disclaimer, a legend on the cover. So in a book, perhaps the footnote, the little C in a circle with your name and the date, that will say, I own this copyright, I created it on this date. So for intellectual property, you can make money through selling rights or through leasing rights. And on a royalty basis, that could be a lump sum, or it could be a percentage which is based on either the volume or the value of the items which are sold. And that could either be payable in the future at some point, or you could get paid some of that upfront as well. So it could be a hybrid approach between almost like a signing bonus and then a sort of pay-as-you-go option. But the important point in terms of royalties is to understand that you're placing a lot of trust upon the person who's to pay you that money in terms of them getting the figure right, how much is due, for them to be able to account to you in time. And I think that most people who enter into an agreement with somebody to pay them royalties for their intellectual property, perhaps they don't understand how long it may be until they actually get paid. Okay, there's a number of collecting societies that exist out there. The most famous ones might be PRS for music and PPL, which are mainly collecting societies for musical copyright. Other collecting societies may apply to performance rights or publishing, so literary copyright. It might be the Publishing Licensing Society. And so every type of copyright usually has a collecting society that stands behind it. What is a collecting society? It's generally an organisation that acts for a number of rights holders and will apply a blanket licence, so a one-off licence for a fee, in order for somebody to use all or any of the rights under that blanket licence. Asking permission, you could get use of it for free. Failure to do that, you could ask for a licence, and that's just an opportunity to lease the work, to use it for a particular time, or for a particular purpose, or for only a certain sector. But you could ask for a licence to use the work. Now, that might be a small payment you need to make for that. Another option could be to buy the work itself, so buy all the rights, therefore you don't need to be limited in terms of your use of the work, and you could then perhaps sell the work on again in the future. And so from permission to licenses to buying, there's a number of options there.